Hello guys, today we're going to be looking at 4 more contraptions that every redstoner needs to know. In the last video, we checked out 4 easy ones, but now, today we're going to step it up to medium difficulty. Without further ado, let's go into the contraptions. So first off, we have the slime piston extender. Now, to make a triple piston extender, it is very complicated. You need tons of redstone, you need observers, those stinky little things, and other things. But, if you're just going to use some slime, it's super simple. You can also do this vertically, but I'm going to be showing you it horizontally today. So, for the first one, it doesn't have to be an immovable, but for the other ones, they cannot stick to slime. Otherwise, it won't work. So, you have the furthest one from the piston set to 1 tick. The second one, 2 ticks more, so 1 plus 2 is 3. And then the other one set to 2 ticks more, so 3 plus 2 is 5. So we have 4 plus 1, which also equals 5. So, when we turn on this lever, power will go here, but it's not going to power anything. Then it'll go here, not going to power anything. And then it's going to go here. And so this one's going to power. Then it's going to move this piston right here to here. And this one's going to power. And so that extends, and that moves this piston right on top of this one. And then that extends. Boom, boom, boom. And then when it comes back, look at that. Super simple, easy triple piston extender. But, what if you want more than 3? What if you want 6? Well, you can do that. You just need to, as before, start with 1, then 3, then 4 plus 1 equals 5, then 4 plus 3, if you can kind of see that there, equals 7, and so on. And so, if we hit this, you can see it goes all the way there. That's 6 blocks that it just extended. And if you want to pull back, it all works. Really easy, really simple, limited components, super cheap. You can make this probably in less than the first hour of Minecraft. And so, why would we want to use this instead of the traditional piston extender? Well, for one, it's easier, but for two, it's slime, so you can stick multiple blocks at once. Like this rather nice looking door right here. Looks like just a wall, nothing to see, no pistons, no redstone, except for that. We can change the input if you want, but when we flick this lever, boom, comes right off. We have this nice little 3x1 right here, this door that just came off. And you can see it opens up a nice big gap in the wall. And it leaves us 2 blocks of space that when we jump through, we have some space to land. And now if we want to close it, we just go back out and flick this lever again, and seamless little door. Our next thing we're going to be going through is the T flip-flop. Now, the T flip-flop converts a button press to a solid press. So let's say you want to use a lever, but it doesn't go with your base, or you have an observer input or some other limited time input, and you want to turn it into a solid input, the T flip-flop has got you. So let's say we want to take this button input and make it into a solid redstone block input. Now to do this, we're going to actually take this 1 tick generator from our first video way over there, and we're just going to add a redstone block. Now this one's pretty simple, but it works perfectly. So when you press the button, it's on. When you press the button, it's off. And what I mean by on versus off is if you have, let's say, a redstone line right here, that's off. And then when you press the button, it's on. And then when you press the button again, it's off. Super nice, super simple, easy, effective way to make a T flip-flop. But what if you don't want it to be this long? What if you want a super small area that's also cheap? Except for the hopper, don't mind that. Then you can do this thing. So this dropper right here is firing into this dropper, firing into this dropper, firing into the hopper, which is then going back into this dropper. So it's just a big loop. Now, the item right now is in this little dude right here. And so what happens is it spits from here to here. And in the same tick, since this one's closer, this fires first, and then this fires. And then it goes into here, down here, and you get the idea. And then the comparator turns on because there's an item in here. And when you press it again, this one fires, nothing in it. And then this one fires, spitting this button from here to here. So let's see that in action. So button starts in this one, press it, ends up in this one. Now if we press it again, the button should go from here to here. And it works. Now, as of the latest update, we have the copper bulb. Now this has made T-flip-flops super easy, as Mumbo Jumbo likes to call it the cop flop. You just take a copper bulb, you tie a redstone input like a button, and then you just take a comparator output, and this is the smallest little T-flip-flop you can ever make. Now, you want to use these because they're super small, but if you don't want light, then you use this, and if you want cheap, then you use this. Now, why would we want to use these? Let's say you want to have a door, but you want to have a button input. Let's say if you had just a normal button input, your door is not really a door. It's just a person squisher. Now, let's turn that button into an actual door with the copper flopper. Now, one thing that's really cool about the copper bulb is that comparators can read it through blocks. So, we can actually put the input way over here and still have those pistons fire. So you see, when we turn it on, it's on, the comparator detects it through the block, and then powers these two pistons. Now your door is closed. Now you want to open it, same process. Door is open. Now the third and second to last contraption we're looking at is the auto dropper. Now these are super useful in farms and item dispensers, anything where you want a machine to give you items but not be clicking 24/7. Now, this is one way. This is a really old way, but it is observerless, cheap, and it's pretty small, isn't it? How this works is this comparator detects when there's items in this dropper. Then it powers this block, powering this redstone, which in turn powers this, and quasi-connectivities that to this dropper here, and fires it. So when there's an item, it goes, detects it, and powers it. So what's all this for? Now, if there's two items in here, it would detect it, it would fire it, but it would stay on and never refire it. Because droppers will only fire out one item if they're powered with a solid power source. Now, we have this little contraption over here. So this powers this, which powers this, which soft powers this block, detected by this repeater, and it sends a signal strength of 15 into the side of this comparator, which turns it off. Now when this turns off, 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 and it turns back on, and it repeats the clock. So let's say we had a little bit of yellow terracotta. You can see auto gets dispensed, and as soon as there's no more, it's done. Another way to make these is with a comparator coming out of the dropper, which pushes this piston forward, making an observer clock, which we covered as well in the first episode. Now when this observer goes, it will fire this dropper very fast, and it'll spit out all of its items, and then once it's done, this comparator will know, and it will turn off the observer clock. So let's see that in action. You can see this one's faster than the other one. That can be good and it can be bad. The reason it can be bad is that sometimes you want to slow it down so hoppers don't get overwhelmed in a farm. Now, why would we want to use these? As I said, in storage. Now let's say you have a little storage system right here where you put items in this chest, they flow into this dropper, and then this system right here, which you find over there, auto detects when there's something in this dropper and fires it into this water stream, goes up into the droppers and into your storage system. Now if you put items in your chest, you can see it auto detects and spits them out into this. They go up into your storage system and fall in safe and sound. This could also be hooked up to a farm. And you can see, as soon as we take the items out, it stops making that horrendous noise. The final contraption of today's video will be the minecart loader and unloader. And its name is pretty self-explanatory. This part right here is the loader. This part right here is the unloader. You can see it's light yellow versus orange. Now, if we have a minecart with a hopper, you can put that hopper right here, and let's say this chest is full of chests, and you want to load this with chests. Now all you have to do is send this hopper down here. It will fill it up, and then once it's full, it'll send it on its way. But it wasn't full. The reason is you can set this hopper right here with the amount of items you want this to be when it goes off. So let's say I wanted this minecart right here to go off with only 2 stacks. So I put 2 stacks in here, and it went off with just over 2 stacks. Now, this part right here detects if there is items flowing through here, and it shuts off the rail. And when there's no more items, it turns back on the rail. So let's see that in action again, now that you know what's going on. So we want 2 stacks of items in here before it goes off, and those items are coming from here. So we press this. You can see it takes about 2 stacks. It takes a little bit over, but that's okay. It goes off, and it gets unloaded by this system. Really easy, really simple, really nice. This one isn't as useful, but it can be if you want to have a farm hooked up to a minecart that sends it way down off into the distance. But this one is super useful, especially for farms with a minecart that's harvesting the farm. This will make sure that the minecart empties out its load before it goes to get another one. So let's see this orange system in play. Let's say you have a farm. It's a bamboo farm. It's a good bamboo farm. But there's only one problem. There's no way to get those out. So you use a minecart with hopper. Good idea. The minecart with hopper goes back and forth. However, when there is too much bamboo, so you can see here that this minecart is unloading its load before it goes to get another one. This makes sure you get your items as fast as possible and the farm is as efficient as it can be. That was it for this video, but if you want to see another video about the hard contraptions, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you haven't seen the easy contraptions, go check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.